So this is a very complex topic that would take several videos to make, and it's extremely scary. Right on their website, they have it worded all nicely, but if you read between the lines, it says, if you see anybody talk bad about the company, report it right here, and we'll handle it. And they're well organized and well funded, and more than definitely have the ability to crush people like me. So I'm probably only going to make this one video. You can dig the rest, but I'm just going to show a little bit of the shady side of the company so you understand where I'm coming from. We will just be talking about the name of the company. There are a lot of aspects that are very, very shady, but we're just going to talk about the name just so you can get a feel of it, because it's like internet porn. Once it's seen, you can't unsee it. So if you support the company and you really feel strongly about them, I recommend shutting off the video right now because you don't want to see this. So the title of the company, Black Lives Matter. It is one of the finest constructed straw man logic fallacies I have ever seen. So why is that? What is Black Lives Matter? Well, it's 4 different things. 1, the organization / the company. 2, the statement, Black Lives Matter. 3, the people / movement. 4, 3 English words, black, which can represent a color, or it's a slang word for a particular race of people. Lives, which they're talking about humans. I'll roll in the actual definitions right here. Matter, the significance of this. So why is this a logic fallacy? Say, for example, I disagree with the company. I say, I do not agree with Black Lives Matter. What is that saying? Black lives don't matter, which most definitely is a racist statement because I'm talking about a very specific type of person. I'm definitely talking about a person because that's what lives stand for. I'm saying don't, as in I disagree or I don't think. And matter, the significance. So it's saying, I think black lives are insignificant. And they will go, well, we mean all lives matter. Okay, then how come when you say the statement in the reverse, it's a racist statement? If this statement meant all lives matter, this statement could be said and it would not be a racist statement. And that's the biggest problem with this. Everything needs balance. Everything needs the ability to be challenged, otherwise it will run out of control. It's missing balance because it is impossible to disagree with the company, the organization, Black Lives Matter. Why? Because just saying the statement that I already said, you could take this clip out of the video and paint me as a racist. You cannot disagree with the statement. You cannot disagree with the company because then they will just say you're disagreeing with the statement. And that's the problem. It's a logic fallacy. And there's not enough people standing up against it to point this out. And they are very aware of this. When they started catching traction in like 2016 or so, somewhere in there, I don't remember the exact time, several people on social media I seen in the comment section be like, hey, don't take this the wrong way, but you really need to change the name of the company. For example, life is precious. I can say this statement in reverse and it's not a racist statement. Life is not precious. That would have been a decent name. So, why do I disagree with the company itself? They basically brought the country to the knees over one single death. If they were really legitimately trying to make a difference in the black community, it would take like a 5-second Google search to see where the problems are and see where the real racism is and to fight it. The leading cause of black deaths, abortion. This is one of the most racist companies ever made. Literally, the founder made this company because she felt the black community's population growth was getting out of control and she didn't want white people to become a minority. This is legitimate historical facts. They kill, now the numbers are kind of goofy depending on who's saying it, between 250,000 and 500,000 black people every single year. How many of this, we'll go on the high side just because it's easier to say 500,000 than 250,000. Out of 250,000 to 500,000 people, How many of those people would have been the next Martin Luther King, the next Albert Einstein? This is a legitimate, serious problem. I see crickets from this company discussing this. Why are they not talking about it? And anybody can Google this and see it. Black on black crime, drug in the community. No, we're gonna totally organize and go against. Yes, dude was murdered. I am not saying that what the cop did was justified at all. That was crooked as hell. There's nobody in their right mind that could watch those videos and not get angry about it, because that just should not happen. But after they sentenced everyone, well, I shouldn't say sentenced. After they decided they were going to charge everyone, after all of that, after they've already accomplished their goals, then they start rioting and stuff. Those people were already going to get locked up. Even the autopsy report, the original one that came out, was just ridiculous, which threw a whole gallon of gas on the fire. So, like, I get why people are mad. But that's a single person. Real atrocities, 250,000 to 500,000 people every single year. Nothing is being said about it. So what do I think the legitimate goal of Black Lives Matter is? Now, they have 3 main goals on there. I should have read them really quick. 1, to fight against state-run injustice, I believe it is. That's legitimate. I can get on board with that. 2, to liberate black people. Maybe in other countries there's still slavery going on, but here in this country, I've never seen slavery ever. I truly mean that, ever. And then the 3rd one, eliminate. It's not. They don't have it worded as racism. I'll just post it right here, what it actually says. But it's basically racism. Forever. What does that say? Well, you have to remember, racism, stereotypes, all that is an idea. You cannot remove it. For whatever reason, said person, we're going to go with Billy Bob Thornton here, is a racist. There is nothing I can do, aside from killing him, which they're talking about removing racism permanently, which they're implying we're going to kill racists, would get rid of racism out of him. It can't be changed. He has implanted that idea in his head. Yes, I could educate him. I can introduce him to a bunch of nice black people. I could be like, hey, you're ridiculous, but unless he decides to change himself or I physically kill him, there is nothing I can do about it. Nothing at all. And I believe that's the real goal, to create artificial racial tension. And why do I think that? Well, first off, you got the name, and it's a logic fallacy, and it's going to run on check because you can't disagree with it, because what are you disagreeing with? The organization, the statement, the people, or the 3 English words? Only one of these you can disagree with, but then they just deflect and say you're disagreeing with one of these and immediately call you a racist, because saying you disagree with this is saying the statement in reverse, which is Black Lives Don't Matter. And because they don't have balance, it's going to spread. So we have Americans right here in this little box. This is all of us. Now, when you take a statement like this, or an organization under this banner, Black Lives Matter, this is specifically going after a particular race, carving them out of this little box, bringing them over here, putting them in their own little group. This will never be challenged because you can't. So it will never get balanced, so we'll keep growing. Now all of a sudden we got Asian Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Mexican Lives Matter, Mulatto Lives Matter. We are separating ourselves. This is extremely dangerous. We are creating artificial tension. At some point, these other race groups are going to want their own little thing. And what does White Lives Matter? You're pulling it apart. You're separating us. You're bringing us apart from each other. And the fact that they're only focused on stuff Like that cop killing that guy. That was bad. No one will ever disagree with that. That's where you put all your focus on. That's where you give all your press to, when there are so many more, very more pressing issues that need attention and focus. Again, I'm just picking one out because it's the leading cause, abortion. If that's where they were putting all their time and effort, that's where I would have been like, okay, I can agree with this group. I definitely disagree with the name of the organization because that's ridiculous. That's a straw man, a logic fallacy. But I can agree with what they're doing, and I would have let it go. If they went to put all their focus on trying to change the outcome of election by force, I might have been able to get behind the organization. But those little things, those clues right there that most people just totally ignore. Oh, no, just forget about that. You know, that's not a big deal. Even though that's literally the definition of terrorism, we'll get behind them. So, will I ever get on board with the company Black Lives Matter? No. I can get on board with the people on certain movements, certain things they want to fight against. If they did want to go against that cop, you know, I would agree with them. That is just fine. But the company as itself, they're shady as hell. They're artificially creating racial tension. It's just bad news bears. Anyway, hopefully a week after this video post, I'll still exist. And if I do, I'd really like it if you click on my other videos. If you'd like to help support the channel, got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just clicking on those links, even if you're not buying what the link is for, just doing your Amazon shopping you were going to do anyway, I get a little kickback for it because you went there off of my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.